Commander Zathara stood frozen at the threshold of the medical bay, her four eyes widening as she processed the scene before her. The human male, David, sat cross-legged on the floor beside her daughter's recovery pod, his calloused hands gently guiding small mechanical components across a metallic surface. Zoe, her precious heir, blind since the mining accident that had nearly claimed her life, listened intently to every word he spoke. "The photon relay goes here," David explained patiently, his voice carrying that peculiar warmth humans were known for. "Feel the groove along the edge? That's how you know it's aligned properly." Zoe's cybernetic fingers, still clumsy from recent installation, fumbled with the delicate piece. Her biosynthetic eyes, clouded and non-functional, stared into nothingness, but her expression showed fierce concentration. "Like this? Perfect. You're getting it, Zoe. The neural pathways are adapting faster than the medtechs predicted." Commander Zathara's secondary heart skipped in synchronization. No one had spoken to Zoe with such encouragement since the accident 3 cycles ago. The Kethmori healing technicians, though skilled, maintained clinical detachment. The court advisors whispered of replacement heirs. Even her own mate had suggested sending Zoe to the outer colonies where damaged offspring could live without shame. But this human, this supposedly primitive creature from the recently contacted Terra system, sat with her daughter as if her blindness meant nothing at all. "Why do you do this?" Zoe asked suddenly, her head tilting in that way that always made Zathara's primary heart ache. "The others say humans only help when they gain something. What do you gain from teaching me?" David was quiet for a moment, his hand stilling over the components. "Where I come from, we have a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Maybe that doesn't translate well, but it means we all have a responsibility to help each other grow, especially the young ones. But I'm not human. I'm not even whole anymore." Zathara felt her throat constrict, a physiological response she hadn't experienced since childhood. She pressed herself against the doorframe, unwilling to interrupt but unable to leave. "Zoe," David said, and something in his tone made both mother and daughter lean forward. "Let me tell you about my sister, Sarah. She was born without sight, just like you are now. The doctor said she'd never be independent, never contribute to society. You know what she became?" Zoe shook her head. "The best starship navigator in the Sol system. She could plot hyperspace jumps by feel, by intuition, by understanding the mathematics in ways that those of us with sight never could. Her blindness wasn't a limitation. It was a different way of seeing the universe." David resumed guiding Zoe's hands over the components. "Your cybernetic enhancements don't make you broken, Zoe. They make you something new. Something that can interface with technology in ways pure biologicals never could. Feel how the circuits respond to your touch? That's not just prosthetics, that's evolution." Zoe's breath caught. "Evolution? The next step. Humans in Kethmori. We're bound by our biological limitations. But you're becoming something beyond both our species. Something that could bridge the gap between organic consciousness and artificial intelligence." Commander Zathara watched as her daughter's posture straightened, as hope began to kindle in her voice. "You really believe that?" "I've seen you work, Zoe. In 3 days you've mastered circuitry that takes most Academy cadets months to understand. Your brain is adapting to process data streams directly through neural interface. You're not disabled. You're becoming superhuman." The word hung in the air like a revelation. Zathara felt moisture gathering in her eyes, a biological function her species had evolved beyond centuries ago, except in moments of overwhelming emotional response. She had not cried since her own childhood trauma, when her clutch siblings had perished in the Great Plague. "Commander Zathara?" David said quietly, not turning around. "I know you're there." Caught, the commander stepped into the room, her military bearing somewhat compromised by the tears now flowing freely down her scaled cheeks. "Human David, your daughter is remarkable. In my species, we have individuals who overcome incredible obstacles to achieve greatness. We call them heroes. Zoe has that same potential." Zoe turned toward her mother's voice, and for the first time since the accident, she smiled. Really smiled. "Mother? Are you crying?" Zathara knelt beside her daughter, no longer caring about protocol or dignity. "Yes, little star. I am. But you said crying was for the weak. I was wrong." Zathara looked at David, This human who had somehow accomplished what all her empire's advanced medicine and therapy could not, he had given her daughter hope. I was wrong about many things. David began to pack up the components, preparing to leave mother and daughter alone. But Zoe's hand shot out, catching his wrist with surprising accuracy. Don't go. Please, I want to show Mother the navigation interface you taught me yesterday. As David settled back down, beginning to guide Zoe through another lesson, Commander Zathara understood why the Galactic Council spoke of humans with such mixture of fear and fascination. They possessed something that advanced civilizations often lost in their pursuit of efficiency and perfection: the ability to see potential where others saw only problems, to nurture strength from perceived weakness. Her daughter's laughter filled the medical bay as her cybernetic fingers danced across holographic displays, plotting courses through dimensions that biological eyes could never perceive. And for the first time since the accident, Commander Zathara believed her heir would not just survive but thrive. The human had been right about evolution. Watching her daughter work with technology as naturally as breathing, Zathara realized she wasn't witnessing recovery. She was witnessing transformation into something magnificent and new. Her tears continued to flow, but now they carried joy instead of sorrow.